Thank you, Dr. Sharon. What we are going to do is we are going to do a case-based approach, and we are going to discuss, me and Dr. Shreyas, that, when would you like to do a surgery, which type of surgery, or not try to touch, put your hands into that case. So I think we'll start with our cases. It's like going to be a case-based approach, and we both will discuss as we move on, and we would appreciate comments from other panelists and speakers if they can join in. Thank you. So the topic is whom to select, whom not to select. Just to give a brief on that, there are various indices in all topographers, and now the advanced topographers tell you that, which are the normal values, which are the suspicious, and which are the abnormal. But however, there are times that, some indices are normal, some are suspicious. So we get into a confusion about what to do, what not to do. And more the indices come in, the more the confusion sometimes add for not all cases, but 10% of the cases. So just this talk is going to be not for the straightforward cases, but all those suspicious cases. So Pentachem, there are going to be normal and abnormal indices, like for diagnosing the suspicious cases. And these are the ones which we need to know the values, and which we need to look into when we are looking at a case. And then there are progression indices, which also tells you whether the case falls into a normal category or an abnormal category. So the topography indices are very straightforward, but a little bit of confusion comes in when there is a Corvis ST. It's a beautiful tool because it technically tells you what is the strength of your cornea, and when you can when, like, whether to do a procedure, whether to do a LASIK, SMILE, PRK, or a phakic IOL, or this is a suspect keratoconus case. Just observe, and then when we move ahead, we decide what to do. So the most important index we have to know here is the corneal biomechanical index, Corvis biomechanical index, which is a combination of multiple parameters. As it is a combination of multiple parameters, it is like a stronger parameter. It has deformation amplitude ratio, it has integrated radius, it has Ambrosius relational thickness and stiffness parameter, and based on all this, it gives you a CBI index. So CBI index, if it is 0.28, it means that below 0.28 it is normal. Between 0.28 to 0.5, it means it is suspicious, and above 0.5 is abnormal. Then there is a combination of bad D. Bad D we all know. Combination of bad D and the Corvis biomechanical index, you get the total biomechanical index, which is even more reliable. So the normal values for total biomechanical index, if it is anything less than 0.29, it means it's normal. 0.29 to 0.5 would be suspicious, and above 0.5 would be abnormal. So these are the values we keep in mind while we are choosing our cases to decide whether to do a surgery or not. So let's look, and this is a scoring based on what we have given a decent scoring based on your inferior superior asymmetry, whether it's a suspicious topography, your K-mean, your anterior elevation, posterior elevation, pachymetry, bad D, CBI, TBI, and the HRMS. So if the score is less than 2, you can go ahead and do any surgery you want. If the score is, these are not KC, keratoconus cases, these are just suspicious topographies. If the risk is moderate, 2 to 5, then you probably do a PRK or an extra procedure. And if it's a severe risk, you would probably go ahead with a phakic IOL if possible. So let's go to cases. This is I'm just putting cases which are dilemma. This thing, the topography looks well normal. There is not much of posterior elevation. The thickness is decent, about 550 in both the eyes. But the bad D, in spite of all this, the bad D is suspicious in both the eyes. The CBI, which is the Corvis biomechanical index, is normal. TBI is a combination of both bad D and CBI. So it goes more towards the bad D side. So it's suspicious for your right eye. But left eye, all the parameters are within normal limits. And the power is minus 6.5. The biomechanics, this is the RSB is 360 and 364. The PTA is coming to 33. And the scoring, according to what I showed, is less than 2, which is showing as normal. So I would like to ask Dr. Shreyas that what would be the treatment of your choice for this patient based on the parameters which I said.
Yeah, thanks, Pooja. Great summary so far. And I quite agree. Based on just the tomographic parameters, we are not seeing any great suspicion apart from a very, very minimal IS symmetry, and probably want to repeat the scan to ensure that it's a consistent IS symmetry. And given this current this thing, I know what you're going to show later, so I'm not going to prejudice the audience. But with this, we would probably think of doing any kind of procedure and think that it is quite safe for this patient. Even though the myopia is high, the thickness is excellent, and all of the parameters are normal. Please go
So
on.
would you like a LASIK, or you would go ahead with doing a SMILE extra procedure?
With this, I don't think I'm justified to do an extra procedure for this patient for given the current values that are being depicted. At least in my practice, I don't use extra for these kind of cases. So I would probably go ahead with a normal femtoLASIK or SMILE based on just currently what's been shown so far.
Exactly. So what Dr. Shreya said is very much correct. So if you can see both eyes the scans look similar. Only thing is badly in one eye suspicious. That can be because of the repeatability of the scan. So you just repeat the scans and you would probably go ahead, and it's a safer procedure to do a LASIK surgery. So this is one of the second case. Again, similar looking topographies, normal topographies, thickness is 515. One eye, all the indices are normal, but the left eye CBI is suspicious, and that's why, because your TBI is suspicious. So if we go to the next step, RSB is good, PT is good, your scoring is normal and moderate risk. So what would be the treatment of choice? And the power is, of course, minus 2.25 and minus 2.75. So but the TBI is 0.77. So would you go ahead and do this case or not?
This is definitely a case where you would think a little bit more. I mean, the biomechanical indexes are not as good as it was in the previous case. And maybe if you were wanting to really play it safe, this is an area where you would, just based on what's been shown so far, you would probably tend towards a surface ablation. I wouldn't reject the patient, but maybe lean towards a surface ablation procedure. But,
I agree with you, Dr. Shreyas. The idea here is to, like, not reject our patients, but to optimize the treatment for our patients, like, which is the safest procedure. Because with plethora of all this normal refractive surgeries, extras and phakic I think it would be an injustice to just tell patient not to have any surgery. So I very much agree to this point. I'll quickly go to the third case. Again, topography is suspicious, but the indices are normal. Thickness is well, it is around 550 again. So what is the missing link here? I'll just quickly run through this. What we do is we measure the surface with all the Scheimpflug based topographers, but we are forgetting that the surface has epithelium, a role of epithelium to play into picture, and there is a stroma beneath it, which is probably or a Bowman's membrane, which are probably always regularized. So we don't an epithelium issue if it is there. Like for example, this case, this is the previous case I showed. There was an inferior steepening, but the indices were normal. And if you see the epithelium here, it is showing a little bit of hyperplasia here, but there is no little bit of anti-elevation present here because of the epithelial remodeling. But the stroma and posterior elevation are not there. So what we mean to say here is, like, whenever you are in doubt, you can probably do an epithelial mapping, not for all your cases, but your biomechanical indices and all are normal. You can probably do an epithelial mapping and see whether there is any localized epithelial hypertrophy or a hyperplasia present there or not. So it is very important to see what lies at your stromal elevation and if the stromal elevation is present. If not, then do you think, Dr. Shreyas, that would it be a good option to, if the stromal elevation is absent, to go ahead and do a procedure?
No, this is a wonderful new tool that's being developed. And I think the fact that we can just, epithelium is such a great masking agent. And I will be showing few examples as well in the next series of cases. And being able to image at the stromal level is something which is giving us a lot of information and is adding a lot of value to our refractive surgery decision making.
So this is one another case, similar thing, like inferior suspicious, but you can see that it correlates with the epithelial hypertrophy, but the stromal elevation and posterior elevation is not there. So again, this is an epithelium issue and not your curvatures are fine. So one more thing I would like to highlight is, if there is any amount of epithelial irregularity present here, that means that, your surface, there is a lot of surface abnormality present. Like the surface is not healthy. It can be because of meibomian gland dysfunction, sometimes not even evident meibomian gland dysfunction, but the surface is unhealthy. And that's why there can be this epithelial irregularity issues. And that's why you have a suspicious topography. So, and post-operatively, if you do this patient, they can land up into a poor visual outcome. So only thing is, like, before doing a refractive surgery, We treat the surface aggressively for 4 weeks and always explain the patient why you're waiting for 4 weeks. Treat the patient aggressively for 4 weeks. If it's quite severe, then you can do one of this modern day dry eye therapy. And after that, you can go ahead and do the surgery. So would you agree to this?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I would not take much time, just
Yeah.
one last case, because I know we are running short of time. So again, here, one eye, your biomechanics is completely normal, but the other eye, which you saw in the previous case, it's on an extreme side, but the topographies are normal, like they both look similar. So what is the missing link here? Whenever you guys are trying to see biomechanical indices, you have to see what the IOP also is. Because corvis is a very delicate structure and it takes your thickness and the IOP into consideration. So this is the same patient, different eyes. One eye IOP is 7.5 and the other eye is 18. And because of this is probably the normal IOP or abnormal, but because of the IOP higher in one eye, this is showing that the corvis is normal, and other eye, the IOP is lower, and that's why it's on the weaker side. So it's extremely important that we correlate the IOP on one of the other tools, or we do a GAT and see if which IOP is correct, and then take a call whether the biomechanical index has been captured correctly or not.